to the stream. Welcome to Track Talk. How are we doing today? Y'all, we are live. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank y'all so much for being here. I hope y'all are doing absolutely amazing today. We are only going to be on for just over an hour. Whispers and Reverie, thank you so much for hopping into the stream. I appreciate you being here. Uba's in the building. Uba, how you feeling today? We'll be on for maybe like an hour and a half tops, hour to an hour and a half. So I've got time for, if we're going to do any breakdowns or anything like that, we have maybe 2 in the box. Maybe 2. So if you want to, of course, make sure you get all those things in order. But I just appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all so much for tapping into the stream. If you're here, make sure that y'all are tapping the live. Make sure that y'all are sharing out the live with a few people. Sending your heart rate for the day. It does help boost the live a little bit as well. But thank y'all so much for hopping in. I hope y'all are doing amazing. White Bean, welcome in. Whispers, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. I think you might like our song Memory Lane. We might have some time to get into a couple consultations today. If anybody is interested in it, you can go to my profile, click on the link, and click on Track Talk Submission. The details for submitting for a consultation are there. Otherwise, we'll be talking music. We'll be hanging out here for a little bit. Like I said, maybe for like an hour, 15 tops, maybe 2 submissions, 2 or 3 submissions tops. Evo, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Let me open up. Give me 1 second to open up TikTok over here, so I make sure I got everything in order. Mellow Doc, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. OGB is in the building. Jad is in the building. How are y'all feeling today? Give me 1 second just to open this up over here so I can see what's going on. V Nasty's in the building. V Nasty, what's going on with you? Appreciate you hopping in. Let's see. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. And we're up and running. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. We got it. We're moving. Florida's in the building. What's up, Florida? The real Florida's in the building. Henry, what's going on, Henry? Appreciate you hopping in. Love a boy. Love a baby's in the building. Not love a boy. Love a baby. Appreciate you hopping in. Mike Hawk is in the building. How y'all feeling today, y'all? Welcome into the stream. We're getting things flowing here. We're just getting things moving. I appreciate y'all being here. Lucas is in the building. What's up, Lucas? Just a quick reminder, y'all. We're just getting things flowing here. We're just getting the stream started. Then Adrian's in the building. The music we listen to, or the one as far as just talking about it, can be whatever you want. But as far as doing a consultation, I got time for maybe 2 of them today. As far as consultations, it's typically music that you make. Lucas, welcome into the building. So good to see you, man. Appreciate you hopping in. So yeah, if you are a producer, an engineer, an artist, a musician, a songwriter, we do 20 to 30 minute consultations where we dig into your mix, production, sound design, lyric, and song structure to get into the details and the nuances of what you're doing. Hopefully offer some specific, professional, and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. So if that's interesting to you, you can definitely go to my profile, click on the link, and click on Track Talk Submission. You'll see all the details right there. Love a baby. Let's go. It's been a minute. But yeah, typically it's people that make their own music or know someone who makes their own music, and that's typically what we break down here. And for those of you who don't know, Elijah, so good to see you, man. Omarai, welcome in. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That's what I do for a living. I've done that for about 13 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician. So the whole focus of this live stream is to offer specific and actionable feedback on your music. Give it a professional second set of ears so we can help you improve on just the commercial viability, the polish, the creative expression that you're working on, and hopefully lend it a good ear to dig into those details. Like I said, Clyde X, welcome in. These are it's not a quick review. There's no trash or pass. There's no ratings or polls. It is a 20 to 30 minute consultation. It's a long form breakdown. We will listen to your song usually 2 to 3 different times in order to really get into the details of what you're doing and offer some very specific feedback. And we are live right now, y'all, on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Let me get a couple things organized here. Omar, I thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Alicia, welcome in. Dylan Thomas, welcome in as well. Let me double check a couple questions here as we're starting to get some things flowing and get some things moving. OGS, welcome in. Mackenzie, what made you get into mixing and mastering audio? So for me, it was kind of like the practical next step in a lot of the things that I was already doing. So to give a quick like synopsis of my music journey to an extent, Clyde, go to my profile, click on the link and click on Track Talk Submission. We got you. Just make sure that you do read through all the details there so it's super clear. So I'll give you a quick like rundown on kind of a bit of my background. I started playing drums when I was 4 years old. I started classical piano lessons when I was 6 and did that all the way through about the age of 18 or 19. I taught myself guitar when I was 8 years old and started writing songs then. As cheesy as that sounds, I've been doing it my whole life. It kind of is the reality. But I also then started teaching myself Pro Tools when I was about 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. We had Pro Tools 5 on an old computer at the house because my sister thought she was going to get into engineering for whatever reason, did it for like 2 months and quit. So we had Pro Tools and I had already been doing, music for a long time and knew all the instruments and learned how to play pretty well. Was doing a lot by ear at the time as well. So I taught myself how to use Pro Tools when I was 13. And before that, I was recording on floppy disks and mixing on floppy disks and stuff like that, which is fun. I used to do it on an old Clavinova piano where I would put in a floppy disk and you could like track like 3 instruments onto it to try to build a production. So I was doing that when I was, 12 into 13 years old. And then I got a more formal training in audio engineering when I was probably starting at about 17 years old. I did a 2.5-year private mentorship at a studio with an audio engineer where we learned a live sound, studio tracking, of course, like audio engineering, production formats and stuff like that. And that was kind of that was the journey. So for me, it was kind of just the next practical step. So I'd been doing music my entire life. I've been producing from a very young age, had learned a lot of different instruments, and was already like helping out with like different like venues and organizations and churches, like doing some live sound stuff, some music directing, background tracks, live looping. I was already kind of doing a lot of that in my teens, into later teens. And so learning audio engineering was just kind of like the next practical step. Like I had a very broad knowledge base of music already, and it was just to get a more formal training in what I was already doing. So that allowed me to actually start, like once I was like 18, 19 years old, I was able to start like taking on, a couple random clients, small bands, small artists and musicians and stuff like that, and start tracking and mixing for them. And then I've just kind of slowly built that business over time to where I'm now able to do that largely full time. As a session musician, as a producer, and of course as a mix and mastering engineer. And so that's the kind of the whole picture right there, for the most part. And so that's kind of what got me into it, was just being in the world already and wanting more of a technical foundation, to be able to actually support not just the creative side of it, which I've been doing my whole life, but the business side of it, the structural side of it, the more analytical side of it that I've always really loved. So it's fun. Let me see. Yeah, if you want to submit for feedback, I appreciate you hopping in. Thank you so much for being here. Someone's comments are getting muted, or they're getting filtered, so just watch what you're saying. Don't say anything crazy, but hopefully y'all can get your comment through the chat here, because I do see that it's coming in. Let me answer a couple questions here, but if you do want to submit, go to my profile, click on my link, and click on Track Talk Submission. I have time for like literally 2 submissions today, literally 2. So I let me double check some things here. I want to make sure that my email is up to date as well. So give me just one moment. It's Okio. Thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. I was recording my lead guitar. When I let the chord ring out, the amp static gets pretty high. How do I isolate that out? So what you're dealing, do you have any compression on there? Answer that really quick. Do you have any compression on there? Some ways to isolate that buzz out and some of the feedback that's starting to happen. Okay, so probably just a loose. Kind of a loose idea without seeing your session and understanding how you're tracking the lead guitar. Probably what is partially happening is when you have that full lead guitar in, it's covering a myriad of other frequencies and it's suppressing a lot of it and it's being compressed. Once that signal starts to dip down, right? So like once that signal is no longer being squashed by the compression, the lower level information might inflate just a little bit. It's called pumping. So once that inflates a little bit, you're going to hear that buzz come back up to the surface because it's not being squashed down by just the sheer amount of amplitude of the lead guitar and stuff like that. So, one thing you could do is if you're just ringing out, you could fade out really easily. The other thing you can do if you're trying to do noise suppression, if you want to do noise suppression, there's probably two options. One would be actual noise isolation. One would be gating. Gating, of course, you have to be really, really nuanced with, because as your signal goes below the threshold for that gate, it will cut signal. So you don't want it to be kind of choppy and weird if the guitar is feeding back a little bit, or it's you're reducing your amplitude, and so all of a sudden it cuts your signal in a funky way. On the other side, would be like natural noise suppression. Natural noise suppression would be something like NS1. I have a couple other, RX11 is another one that I use all the time. Wubsy's in the building. What's up, Wubsy? I'll catch up on a couple things. Yeah, Edison can help just a little bit too. I'm on Pro Tools. I'm not an FL. I do have FL Studio, but I don't really use it right now that much. And I know you have Edison on there. Hello, Wubsy. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing amazing. Front Porch, welcome in. NS1 is great. So NS1 is, if you hop over to YouTube, I can show you really quick, but that's up to you. NS1 is a noise suppression plugin, and it also has a natural built-in gate, and it's a single knob. So what's good about NS1, I have it on my vocal right now, and I can show you a little bit of how it works. It's so simple. It's like a $30 plugin. Clint is in the building. What's up, Clint? Welcome in. But what it does is it'll take care of suppressing some of those specific frequencies that are a bit more hissy and noisy and buzzy. And then when you stop playing, it'll gate completely, so you don't get any other bleed in there. It's really, really nice. But Lucas, yeah, I would look at NS1. That's what I use. Like I'll take it off right now because I have my vocal. This is a tube microphone that I'm running into. You can't really see it that well right now, but it's out of you can see it on YouTube and Twitch, but this is a tube microphone. And so that has a little bit of noise to it. I'm running through an analog preamp, compressor, and EQ over here as well. It's a tube one, so it has a little bit of noise to it as well. So if I take this off, you'll hear, let me bypass it real quick. You can hear some of this is in the room. Actually, some of the sound that it's picking up on is actually, I have two computers that I'm running right now, one for TikTok, one for everything else. And this computer right now has its fan going like crazy. So that's a bit of what you're hearing in the microphone. But the other is just, it's some electronic noise. It's some noise from the preamps. Like everything has got a little bit of a noise floor to it. And so NS1 is great because I just pop this on. Clean, pristine, but it's not choppy at all. Like that's what I really like about it. I literally have this at like 10%. Literally at 9 or 10% on here, and it's super clean. It's not taking out any of the like color and texture of my vocal. Thank you so much for the heart, me Libby. It keeps everything like really natural and clean because it's gating in between, but it also is keeping things suppressed only when it hears those frequencies come in. So this sounds super polished and clean without, and obviously if I'm like tracking vocals, I don't have this computer down here that you can't see. This computer is super noisy and hissy, this old Dell over here. So when I'm tracking, I don't use this at all. It's literally only for TikTok Studio. So if I close it off, my signal's pretty clean. Like it's not very noisy. It's a really good interface and good pre's, and it really doesn't give me too many issues. Yeah, definitely check it out. Thank you for the heartbeat retrack. It's so good to see you. Let me catch up on a couple things really quick. Minister Big, thank you so much for hopping in. Quick reminder that if you do want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link tree, click on Track Talk Submission. We'll get you up on the board. Let's see. Let me get all this updated. Howdy. Troy Monk, welcome in. Winton, welcome in. Danny Boy's in a building. Let me catch up on a couple quick questions here. Yeah, and this one is great. I use it all the time. It's usually RX11 or NS1 is typically, if I need to do like a little bit like more surgical noise reduction, I'll go with the RX11. If I just need to toss on a plugin for like a simple vocal to just like give it what it needs to just suppress some noise, some very light gating, then NS1 does a great job. And that's a Waves plugin for those of you who don't know. Danny Boy, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Mackenzie said, I'm starting my musical journey myself with a Machine MK3. Shout out to the Machine. I wish that I had a Machine in here. That would be cool. I kind of want an old one. I want one with like the old analog circuitry. The new ones are great too. I mean, they're expensive. They're great too. But yeah, I would love to get an old one. Would love to get an old one. Are we on? Clay, welcome in. Are we on Charlie Carter, Charlie XX? Oh my God. It immediately, immediately pops in my head. And now thank you so much for that. That is going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Shame on you. Goodness gracious. Let's see. Cornerstone. Let me see. It's skipping around. You catch up here. I'm so glad she's super sober, doing better. The surgery went well. So glad to hear that, Wubsy. So glad to hear that, man. I appreciate that. Be beneficial. That would be beneficial for most of my recording, even for acoustic mic'd up. 100%. You got a little bit of room noise. You got some AC, an AC unit and stuff like that in the background. Then, and this one is great for stuff like that. Like I said, it comes with the Waves bundles or with like the Wave subscription, which is what I use. So I have like 200 plugins from them that I just run with that. And then, but you can also like just purchase for like $35 or something like that if you want to get it standalone. Wizzy says she's wildly starving. I keep telling her to rest. He tries to get a bit clean. Nah, gotta rest. Gotta rest. I feel like honestly, Libby would be the same way. She'd be like, no, I've got so much to do. It gets stuck in my head. It's so bad, Libby. It's so bad. The way that song gets stuck in my head, it's brutal. Trying to figure out if this space is AI friendly or not. I write my own lyrics. I would take a nuanced approach if someone's upfront. That's more respected. 100%. I think Libby said it best. I because of a lot of the nuances that come with the AI world, I typically, just from a natural standpoint, have more appreciation for what's happening when other instrumentalists and musicians and artists are doing their thing. But I'm not like necessarily like anti here and there. Like Libby said, I like people to be upfront about it because people come in and they try to lie about it, and it's very easy to pick up on, and it's very easy to like, especially with people that come in and they try to pass stuff off as their own, and it's really not their own at all. And that's just like funky to me. I just don't get it. If you're going to use it as a tool, use it to demo, use it to finish your lyrics. I don't really like care that much. It has its limitations. It has some structural, integrities to it that I think are not the greatest, and I have my issues with it, but I'm not like anti it. It's not a not safe place where I'm going to like tear you apart and call you evil because you use it or something like that. But I typically recommend people that are wanting to write and wanting to get artists on their song that maybe they demo with it, but they have a pursuit of getting someone actually on the record themselves. So that for one, you have more opportunities for placement, you have more opportunities for exposure, you have more opportunities to actually make money with it, and you are supporting the ecosystem of the creative industry, which I do think is really important. Otherwise, the industry will inevitably crumble completely within 3 years. So AI submissions are 50, but I know we just have an upcharge. That's the only like what Bobby said. We just have an upcharge for AI. I'm joking, we don't, but that's the thing. I think if we devolve into completely neglecting the collaboration human to human in the creative industries, then I think a lot of things societally and culturally that are based around our media, which is in every culture around the world, that has a lot of their that is funny actually, that have a lot of their like cultural experiences and their storytellings baked into song, into tradition and stuff like that. I think if we lose that, I think it's very I think that could be detrimental to society. So I do think there's some nuance to it, but I'm also not anti, you know what I mean? Like I think there's a lot of issues with it that need to be worked out. I think there's a lot of like philosophical issues that need to be worked out of how we approach music being a part of culture and society, and also it would exacerbate the issue of them trying to pass it off as their own, though. That is that is true. Like, well, hold on, I don't like it that much. Like, hold on one second. Anyways, I don't mean to start ranting on AI randomly, even though it's kind of fun sometimes. I just think it's nuanced. I think like anything, I try to take a nuanced, idea by idea approach, especially in music. And so that's the way that I look at it. All tuners, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. How y'all feeling today? What are y'all up to? What kind of music do you make? Josh Tosh, welcome in. Thank you so much for putting that in chat. I appreciate you being here. Seen it. Appreciate you hopping in. Y'all, I've got time for literally 2 consultations today. Literally 2 consultations. So if you would like to submit for a consultation, if you would like to get yourself up on the board and do a full 20 to 30 minute breakdown of your music, you would like to get into the nuances of your mix, production, sound design, lyric, and song structure, go to my profile, click on the link, and click on Track Talk Submission. There you'll see all of the details and all the steps. Literally only have time for 2. Literally. Michael, thank you so much for hopping in. I'm going to be on for like an hour tops today. I got a bunch of other things going on, so we got to keep it concise. Weebo's in the building. Thank you so much for hopping in. All tuners, welcome in. I appreciate you being in the chat as well. Yeah, what kind of music do y'all make? Talk to me about your music. Plug yourself. Talk to me about your music. What are y'all up to? What are y'all making these days? And where are you making it from? That's always interesting too. Weebo, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Clip of the day. Welcome into the chat. Clip of the day. I don't know why I said it like that. Thank you so much for hopping into the live stream. It's not all coffee though. It's not all coffee. Cornell is in the building. I'm on an 80s rock vibe. Very Stevie and ooh, I like that. I like it. What do you I am such a fan of the 80s. That's my I'm not an 80s kid. I'm a 94 kid, but I feel like I was like born in the wrong era. I love the 80s. I love the 80s. I love the, early synth sound design in the late 70s into the 80s. Some of my favorite stuff in the world. So I love listening to that stuff. Yeah, it's not. Wait, do y'all remember what was Venom? Do y'all remember Venom? Is there anyone in here? You had to be like a degenerate to remember Venom if you ever had Venom. Venom at the time. Wubsy, I knew Wubsy would remember. I knew Wubsy's an EDM degenerate. It is like I remember Venom because it was like, especially in like the Monster and the Monster Red Bull and like Nos craze, like they were kind of taken over before Bang and Celsius and like whatever. Venom was like the cheap one. Venom was the one that you could just like get at the gas station for like 89 cents sometimes, and they tasted so horrible, but they were so cheap. I was like, hey, this is like the cheapest way that I'm going to get energy today. I'm like 15, I should have energy. Like, what am I doing? Brutal. If I send in a track, are you going to review it here? Yes. So these are 20 to 30 minute consultations. So these are long form. I only have time for 2 today. I'm going to be on for an hour. These are 20 to 30 minute consultations. So we are going to listen to it right here on the live. In fact, we're live here on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube right now. We will listen for about 20 to 30 minutes. We'll break down the track in depth. We'll listen probably 2 or 3 different times to get into your mix. We'll break down production structure. Honestly, whatever would best serve you, give you the most value, the most information that would be beneficial for you. Because there's people that come in that are phenomenal vocalists and songwriters, but really struggle to get a good mix on their vocal production or on the balance of their instrumentation and stuff like that. So we might hone in more on that. There's also people that come in that are incredible producers and they're trying to record vocals for the first time and they're struggling with that. So we might dig into that, whatever it may be. So we do break down a lot of different things in depth over a long period of time. But it really is just dependent on what are you looking for, what would benefit you, what would serve you and your song the most. So that's what we're definitely going to hone in onto. Is there a line for feedback? Right. We just hopped on a minute ago, Tim, so we're wide open. Like I said earlier, I'm just only going to take 2 songs today. Literally 2 songs today. The current spot today, we'll be back probably Sunday. I'll see about Sunday. It's going to be a long ass weekend. So I will see. I might need a day off. I might need to just rest my ears. Just because we got a long day today. It's going to be an insanely long day tomorrow. If I go Sunday and then back early in the week next week, that'll be a lot. That'll be crazy. That'd be a lot. I'll keep updated. Maybe I'll hop on like now, right? Like I can hop on now. We take a couple submissions. We chat about your music. We learn a little bit more about you. Just build the community, support each other. Maybe we'll hop on for an hour or 2 on Sunday, just to show face, talk to y'all, hang out for a little bit. Maybe take a couple submissions. But definitely we'll be back on Monday. Definitely back on Monday. Dolores, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let me double check this real quick. Give me one moment to hop over here. Background, the producer is in the building. Got you, Tim. I got you. Just 2, and I just got 1. So I got space for 1 more, y'all. I got space for literally 1 more submission. It's a 10 on 15 skip right now. I got Tim in the building. Tim, I'm going to throw you up here. Let's see. Zig is in the building. And Tim, as soon as I get your email in, we're going to run it. As soon as I get your email in, we're going to run it. Valley Shell, maybe back in. I don't think I have time for 3. Just with, I don't think I have time for 3. Valley Shell, thank you so much for hopping in. Dun. All genres, all levels of preparedness, all the way across the board. Yeah, we'll listen to it literally yesterday. And I think I just got my second one. So give me a second. And Valley Shell, thank you so much for the heart me. I appreciate it. Thank you. I got you. Okay, is that JM? Is that you, Cornell? If that's you, I got you. And that will go ahead and just close us up for today. Okay, got you. Okay, give me 1 second, Shell. Give me 1 second. I need to update a few things here. I got to keep my list open from yesterday as well. Valley Shell. From, is that the one that, is that, am I remembering? There's so many lives. Is that the, yeah. I was like, wait, is that what I'm remembering? I'm trying to like connect all the names to all the different lives and stuff like that. Valley Shell, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, let me get Tim. I don't know what I'm doing here, y'all. It's chaos. All right, let's see. I got Tim in the building. Let me update the line here. And then I'll update a couple questions as well. Okay, let me update the email. Give me 1 moment here. Tim and Cornell, let me get you up there. Just 1 moment. All right, let me see. Give me just 1 moment and just make sure. Hex, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you as well. Okay, Cornell, you're good. I got you. And in background, I just don't know. I don't have a lot of time today. It's a pretty busy day. That would be amazing. I would love that, Libby. I would love that. Okay, let me pull up some tracks here, and we're gonna get into submissions here. I got Tim and I've got Cornell up on the board. Give me 1 moment, y'all. Give me 1 moment. Let me get this figured out because these emails are Tim. I got you, and Cornell, I got you. Okay, both of your emails just came in. Give me 1 second to keep this open. And I know we do need to do another. We do need to do another Libby Live. We do need to do. Nova Stone, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Okay. All right, let's get into it. All right, we're going to kick it off, y'all. We are going to go ahead and get into some consultations today. Let's dive in. We got Tim in the building. Tim, hop in the chat. Just let me know that you are present. Let me know that you're here. And for those of you who don't know, these are 20 to 30-minute consultations. These are deep dives into the structure of your music. We're going to get into your lyrics, your song formatting and structure. We're going to get into your mix and master, production, and sound design choices. We're going to dive deep. We're going to listen to your track multiple times to get into the nuances and the details of your music. Like I mentioned earlier, this is not a quick review. There is no trash or pass ratings or polls. This is a detailed breakdown. We're going long form. I am not here to just hype you up. This is not an exposure live. This is also not a trash live. This is also not a roast live. I love the music. I love the process behind it. I love people that love music. So the whole goal here is just to help improve and polish the structure of your creative expression. I'm not here to change your music and like try to turn everything that you're doing into a corporate pop song for sync. I want to honor and respect your creative vision for your music and offer any of the tools that I've learned over doing this for well over a decade professionally to hopefully find some tools and some insight that would help you polish the structure of your music in line with the way that you want it to sound, right? Because everyone has a different perspective on mixing, has a different perspective on creative expression and how they want to build their music. I want to respect what you do and also see if there's ways where we can bring some clarity and some distinction and some, a little bit more polish to what we're doing. So if that's interesting to you, it's a very short live today, so I apologize for that. I've got time, like I said, for 2, maybe 3, but honestly, probably 2. And then I'll most likely be back Sunday or Monday. I'll be back live and hopefully through the next week outside of maybe Christmas Eve and Christmas will be very busy for us. So, okay. Just started to learn to mix, so I want some Let me see. I started to learn to mix, so I want some tips plus whatever I said in the email too. Okay, beautiful, dude. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you sending in your music. I also completely understand that this is a vulnerable process, especially when you are newer. When you are newer to the craft, especially when you have unfinished demos of stuff and you're trying to improve the quality of it. It's a very kind of scary, vulnerable thing to just shoot that out to the world in real time, live, and get a response from it and get a reaction from it and stuff like that. So I appreciate you being vulnerable and sending in a track like this, a demo track like this. I do appreciate that a lot. I do not take that for granted. Ronan, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here, and thank you for the follow. That means a lot. Thank you for that. All right. Timon said, this is a demo track I made yesterday. The title is Better Than He Can. I wanted to know how to better fix my mix in terms of how the vocals sit together with the 2-track. Also, just overall thoughts. Okay, offer me just a few more details as well. You mentioned 2-track, so I'm kind of assuming that this is like a BeatStars lease or a YouTube MP3 strip, something like that. You can let me know in the comments. Or in the chat here. Give me some context on that. And then I'm assuming obviously that you are just mixing all of this yourself and everything that I'm hearing is strictly yours. YouTube MP3, beautiful. Thank you for that. And then you're tracking and mixing your vocals. Talk to me about tracking your vocals. What are you using to track? This is Better Than He Can. This is a demo from Timon. Let's get this downloaded, 2 seconds, and then we'll run it. Here we go.
Damn, he ain't gonna do no better than I can.
I love that. Sub bass slide, beautiful.
He ain't gonna do no better than pretend. He ain't no damn sure like me, no baby. He ain't the man that I know you so deserve. Long as you're here, my love will never fade away. So tell me what you need, shawty, tell me where to go. You've been on my mind, shawty, tell me what you know. Tell me what you need, baby, tell me how to know. You've been on my mind, shawty, tell me where to go. And I won't ever hesitate.
Smooth, you got a good voice.
Appreciate. Just want you to know what I've been going through with you.
Is that it? I was waiting for 4 more verses and a hook and a bridge. Is that it? That is it. Okay, we're quick. Okay, let's show some love, y'all. That is Timon. Let's get. I was about to sit back. I was ready to vibe for the next couple minutes. That's killer. Okay, let's get into it. Especially for being new, 100%. Dexter, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being in the live stream as well. Let's run it from the top. I was not expecting it to be that fast. So let's dive in, man. Let me run this back from the top and let's get into some details. Hold on, let me back it up here and make sure I've got the full, a minute on the dot. Do you have, JW, welcome in. Do you have an extended version, or is this is all that you've, more for tips on, okay, no, beautiful, dude, I love it. No worries at all. I'm just letting you know I was vibing. I was about to sit back and just lean into it and chill out for a second listening to it, man. You have a great voice. But let's dive in, man. Let's dive in. Let's run it from the top and let's talk about, the main thing I'm going to talk about is vocal production, because you're working off of a 2-track, which is largely already mixed. You know, it's fairly well balanced. You get a nice present bass, no mud. I love the slides, beautiful, gorgeous, and nice and crispy at the top end. So let's mainly talk vocal production, positioning, levels, sibling control, stuff like that. All right, let's run it from the top. It's only a minute, so I'm going to chop through a couple times here just because it's so short.
Damn, he ain't gonna do.
I love the early introduction to the vocal too. That's great for platforms, great for streaming, great for retention. For those of you who don't know, I typically mention this every couple lives, but if you don't get streamed for longer than 30 seconds, it doesn't count. You don't get paid, and you'll never see the number. So the example that I always give is if you have 1 million people stream your song on Spotify for like 28 seconds, you'll see 0 streams and 0 pennies from it, because that's all that Spotify pays. You really won't get anything from it. So you do need to make sure that you introduce yourself somewhat early in your records so that people can engage. They know that there's a real artist there. There's also like 1 million songs a week put on Spotify, and that's not counting the introduction of new AI, which is it's like 100,000 songs a day at this point. It's crazy. So there's a lot that gets put out there. We are bombarded with new music and new information. So it is important that you introduce yourself as an artist early on so people can, decide if they like what they're hearing and they want to give it a chance and listen past 30 seconds, or if they want to, cut it and be like, oh, I'll move on. So I love that you do the bass slide, you introduce your vocal immediately, that just gives you a lot more credibility because people know they're not just listening to a beat, they're listening to an artist that has character and has charisma. So I appreciate you doing that right off the bat. Mind the Void, welcome in.
No better than I can. Baby, can you understand? Damn, he ain't gonna do no.
Okay, practically speaking, just level-wise, your lead vocal, and again, you have a good voice. I mean, it's smooth. It's an easy listen. It's very, very forward in the mix here. I would probably pull it back by maybe 2 dB, 2.5 dB. Just kind of settle it back into the production a little bit more. The other thing that can be helpful to do if you're working with a 2-track, I'm going to give you the simplest version of this. There's more complex ways to do this that would be a little bit more nuanced, but in this case, I'll give you the simplest version. One of the easiest ways to do this will be just to carve some space on your beat's EQ where most of the fundamental frequency of the vocal sits. So in this case, that would be, let's say, like 600 to 1200 hertz on an EQ on the 2-track itself. And you just carve a little bell curve right there between 600 and 1200 hertz-ish, right? Kind of depends on the vocal, but right in that pocket there, it's where a lot of the fundamental bass frequencies of that vocal are going to sit. And you carve a little bit of that out of your 2-track and then settle that vocal into that pocket right there. Now your vocal is still going to be brighter over the top, but it's going to allow it to feel a little bit more cohesive. And then if you have that, send that to a bus and then just glue compression over the top of it. Give yourself like 2 dB of nice, even analog glue or emulated analog glue over the top of that. And it'll help just settle those elements together, right? Because it feels like they're under the same umbrella. There's space for the vocal in the production as if it were produced and mixed together. And you get a little bit of glue to help control those transients and keep everything under the same umbrella. It definitely makes it feel a little bit more concise. Now, there's probably even more in-depth things that you can do. Some mid-side processing is another great way to do this, to carve that fundamental frequency out of just the center channel and then increase openness on the outside channel for your instruments, your instrumental and stuff like that. There's some practical ways to do that, but I would start by just 600 to 1200 hertz-ish, 600 to 1200 hertz-ish, carve a little space right there just for that vocal to sit right there in the middle and allow it to have its own space. And then you can pull that vocal down because it has more clarity in the mix already, more distinction in the mix. You can pull it down by 2 or 3 dB and have it feel like it's more a part of the production and less like you have a 2-track. And this is one of the telltales of most like 2-track recordings. We were talking about this yesterday on the live stream because it happened again. A lot of times what makes it feel even more obvious that this is like a BeatStars lease or off BandLab or a YouTube strip or it's a 2-track mix for a lot of people, especially when they're earlier on, is that you hear the beat right here and you hear the vocals over the top and they're very distinct from each other, right? They don't feel balanced together. They don't feel glued together with compression. You hear a beat and you hear a vocal and they feel very separate from each other. So proper, application of subtle glue EQ as well as carving some space for that vocal to like settle down into that pocket in the EQ can be really, really helpful. Let me go a little bit further here. We'll move on. And you also have some good layers and stuff in here as well, which I like a lot. When turning it down, is it okay to just touch the fader or do I need to adjust the gain on the track? Touch the fader. That's what they're there for. There's kind of an interesting thing, an anomaly so again, I grew up in studio. So like I've worked around boards and stuff for, a good chunk of my life, even in live sound or when I was training in studio. There's like this anomaly that has happened lately. And I don't know what it is. I'll be honest with you. I think it is the like TikTokification and YouTubeification of like engineering, where the focus is solely on plugins and gain staging through plugins that people forget about the faders. Use the faders. That's what they're there for. Like using that to like automate your gain levels. And maybe you have the vocal a little bit quieter in the verse because you empty out some of the bass and it's a little bit more intimate and vulnerable sounding and you want to feel a little bit more tied in. And then maybe you automate it forward and you push it forward with the fader going into your hook. And maybe your last hook, you just push it another dB forward again to open it up just a bit more. Tyne, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that. So yeah, touch the fader, man. Use the fader. That's what they're there for. Don't be afraid to utilize all the tools of the mix. Now, I will. I seen somewhere where it says if my tracks are clipping, need a gain stage. Oh yeah. So yeah, if you're clipping, so that's literally what I was kind of about to say. To backtrack a little bit, if you are having a hard time with gain staging, that's something separate, right? Now, if you've gain staged properly, you're compressing and you're EQing and de-essing, whatever you need to do in tuning and stuff like that. And then you get in, it's just like too loud over the beat. Yeah, just turn it down on the fader. Now, if you find yourself clipping, you need to go all the way back to the source. I would recommend going all the way back to the vocal. Isaviva, welcome welcome in. So good to see you. Go all the way back to the source. Go from your proximity. This is the first source is you to the microphone. This is the first start of your analog chain is your vocal to the microphone. So go back to your proximity to the microphone, then into your gain staging at your interface, or if you're using preamps or compressors or anything like that, of course there. But if you're just going direct into an interface, then dial in your gain staging there, right? So get your gain exactly where you need it to be. And then you add let's say you added your first preamp or EQ and then readjust your output, gain stage there. You add a compressor, it makes it really, really loud and punchy. Bring down the output of that compressor again, or the makeup gain back down a little bit to recontrol your range. Now your dynamics are tighter and it's going to sound louder, but your levels are more consistent. Then you add another EQ where you brighten the top end, you pull out some mud, whatever it may be, but it makes it a little bit more, it makes it, you have higher perceived loudness because it's brighter and punchier. You might bring the levels back down again. That's gain staging, right? That is making sure that at every stage of your process, at every plugin that you go, that you rebalance your signal so that you're not clipping or it's not too quiet and then you're compressing later and introducing more noise. You're just rebalancing your signal over time. So yes, if you are clipping and you have a lot of issues with your gain staging, fix that first. 100 times out of 100, fix that first. And then you get to the end of that, and versus your production and your vocal, the vocal just seems like it's too prominent, grab the fader, drop it down, or automate that fader so where it has a balance throughout the mix that is a little bit more consistent. But yeah, definitely try to mitigate the clipping as much as possible. I mean, that's just, you just lose a bit of control over your signal if that happens. Yeah, and so yeah, I just wouldn't use the plugins to mix, if that makes sense. So properly gain stage and keep everything really consistent and leveled as you go. But fix things as early as possible. So if something's just like way too loud, check your input to the into the interface. So I can't think today. Check the input into the interface, check your compressors as you go through and just rebalance it. Thank you for that time. Thank you so much for the Go Populars. I appreciate you. Sorry, I just saw those pop up on the screen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Shout out to Tyne. Thank you for doing that. All right, let's go a little bit further.
Better than pretend. He ain't no damn sure like me, no baby. He ain't the man that I know you.
I like the little ping pong delay in the background. It's subtle. It's a good tail right there. I like that.
So deserve, long as you're here, my love will never fade away. So tell me what you need.
And you have a pretty smooth compression structure in your vocal. Like I said, it's loud. We can back off just a little bit. But you have a pretty smooth, even compression structure on your vocal. So I really don't mind that too much. It's got a cool feel to it. I will say that you have a nice, airy, bright edge to the vocal at the top. And past that, and you might already have some, but I would add a de-esser. Now there's, again, things early on you could do to help mitigate some of these issues, but it is a little bit sibilant forward to where you're in such close proximity, it seems like, to your microphone. Sounds like you're kind of right up on it, which is good because you're getting a lot of warmth and good, healthy low end from your vocal. But it also, when you're really close to the microphone, especially in this style and other like alternative R&B styles, if you're really close to the microphone, you just have less opportunities for diffusion for like wind-based consonants, right? So that's like sibilants, plosives, stuff like that. So if I'm back here, if I'm, in this case, I'm like 8 to 10 inches away from the microphone, there's a lot of space. Heart Creature, thank you for the lightning. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the festival. Thank you for that. I'm ready. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm like at a auction or something, like an auctioneer. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that. If I'm farther back, there's more space for me to be able to diffuse those like wind-based consonants, right? Like again, your sibilants and your plosives and stuff like that. So in that case, it's going to allow you a little bit more space. Of course, utilizing a pop filter is going to amplify that as well. If you're really, really close to the microphone, you don't have a lot of opportunities for you to diffuse those things. Now, it is a proper, recording technique to be close to there and get a little bit more proximity effect, more warmth and energy behind the vocal. Obviously, Billie Eilish is probably one of the most recent popularizations of that technique to even like hold a really sensitive microphone like a TLM 103, which is what she was using when she was holding that close for a lot of her earlier records. And get a really like close proximity to the microphone and get a lot of that warmth out of the vocal. But what that takes is incredible like vocal control, breath control, and like obviously phenomenal engineering on the other side of it in order to make sure that you're not getting as much sibilance and as much plosive energy. In this case, you're pretty broke tough. Thank you so much for hopping in. Yeah, ask a question on YouTube. I would love to answer it when I get a chance. I'm not gonna be on very long, so I gotta move pretty quick. But yeah, definitely drop it in there. Shipwreckparadise in the building. Welcome it as well. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so for what you're doing here, you have a pretty close proximity, so you're not really getting any diffusion of your sibilance. So I would add a de-esser after your highest push of your vocal. So right here, it does sound like you have a high end push, which I don't mind. You have a nice airy, breathy vocal here, so it works really well, especially in this genre. But you have, 10K sounds like it's probably pushed up, let's say, like, 4 or 5 dB or something like that. So in that case, you are getting an amplification to the sibilance in your vocal, which is those S's and T's and K's and stuff like that. So add a de-esser after that in order to just very lightly suppress and balance that vocal again, right? So right now you're getting those harsher S's and T's. I have a wide de-esser at the beginning at the chain. There's not rules, there's just techniques. And I think that's a decent way of explaining it. There's not really a lot of rules. There's just techniques, right? So I know people that auto-tune first and then other people that auto-tune last. I know people that have one de-esser, and I know a Billboard charting platinum engineer that sometimes uses 3 de-essers. He does manual de-essing corrections in Melodyne. He has a de-esser in an outboard chain that he has, it's like a DBX de-esser, and then he adds another one from Waves in the DAW. So he's de-essing 3 times, right? So there's no rules, there's just technique. Now, if you don't know the techniques, then those rules go out the window and it can be messy. But at the core of it, you just have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. If you have it early on, so I think part of what's happening is you have it early in your chain, and then you're compressing potentially multiple times. You're compressing a lot, introducing more low-end information there, like low-level information there, and then bringing back all of the highs. You're kind of reintroducing some extra energy right there. On the other side, if you're going to boost a lot of energy in the highs, I would probably add another one after that to help suppress it a little bit farther, like 5,500 hertz, 5,000 hertz, and then just notch it down. Depending on where your threshold is for that de-esser, in order to just take some of the harshness and some of that expression from the sibilance away. Because I was thinking, like, you kind of hear some of that suppression, but you're also still getting some harshness in the vocal. Partially also because this is very loud, right? So if you can rebalance it so it's not so prominent, that'll be helpful. And then at the same time, add a de-esser to just help control and mitigate those issues.
Shawty, tell me where to go. You've been on my mind, shawty. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me how to know. You've been on my mind, shawty. Tell me where to go, and I won't ever hesitate. And
What's up, AJ? Welcome in.
Just want you to know what I've been going through with you.
It's short and sweet. Give me 1 second. I just want to run out this background again here too. We had to use the de-esser a lot on our album. Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. So here's what I'll say. This is the last thing that I'll say, and hopefully this was helpful to you, Tim. I appreciate you sending this in so much. So for me, you have great layer. Again, I got 60 seconds of the song, so you have great layering, great support. Chris, thank you so much for the tiny. What is it? The tiny Christmas Diney. Thank you so much. I appreciate the gift so much. You have like great layers, great expression, a really smooth R&B vocal. You're doing so much really, really well. And so for me, it's levels, it's control, as well as just rebalancing that vocal as you go. So it sounds as smooth as the production does in this case. I want to hear one more thing just really, really quick here towards the end. But hopefully that helps give you kind of a fresh, perspective on what you're trying to get out of this vocal. Let me hear that.
And I won't ever hesitate, and I'll appreciate. Just want you to know what I've been.
It's smooth. It's really smooth.
With you.
And you have like good, like catchy structure too, good melody repetition and stuff like that. Y'all show some love, man. Show some love. That is Temin. And it's seeing, let me see the name here again. I want to. Of course. And I'm excited, like, obviously, the more you build out this production and stuff. So that was called I want to see the acronym. Better Than He Can. Better Than He Can is the name of that record. It's an unreleased demo. We got 60 seconds of it. I'm excited to hear how you build this out so we can get some more dynamic range out of your vocal and stuff like that. But for me, it's just softening some of the harshness that's coming out so you don't exaggerate so much of your high end. You don't exaggerate, especially when you're getting more sibilant energy coming through, controlling that, and then controlling levels through natural gain staging, but also use the fader, automate, tuck everything in, get everything balanced together. Like I mentioned before, that curve in the EQ between 600 and 1200 hertz helps a lot to just settle that vocal in the production. There's probably better, more nuanced ways to do that too, but if you're just starting out, that's an easy way to just carve some really natural space for that vocal to sit in the pocket and feel like it's being expressed well and be, connected to the rest of the production. Y'all, show some love to Tenon. Thank you so much for sending that in. And then let me see, Shipwreckparadise. Was that you that I just saw? Is that you? I'm going to try to move pretty quick through some music here. We got Shipwreckparadise in the building as well. I think that's you. Let me just double check. My song is produced by me, but it's not mixed yet. Okay, sounds good, Cornell. I'm gonna see if I can get through these quick, y'all. I'm gonna see if I can get through these quick because I do have the lines closed. But I. Okay, got you. Okay, so Shipwreck, I got you, y'all. From now on, lines are closed. No more. I gotta find a way. I don't know. I got to figure out some other things here on TikTok too. Heart Creature, thank you so much for the rose. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you. Okay, so Cornell, technically we had someone move forward, but I'm going to go ahead and play your song next, Cornell, so we can get straight into it. I'm going to move at a good pace, and then hopefully we can move through this at a good pace. But lines are closed, so if you are a mod in the chat, can you please remind people? I know some people are still going to send in. It's just inevitable. I'll just have to save those credits for Sunday. I'll have to save them for the next live stream. So if y'all can continually just like pin or remind that the line is closed, that way I can make sure new people don't come in and they get upset. Just because I gotta cut it short here. All right, so Cornell, here is a rough song of my song "Out My Head." Okay, immersion on my track. My song is produced by me and is not mixed yet. Okay, sounds good. But all the vocals I'm hearing are you. Let's get into it. This is Dirty Drums, Basic Done. I love the naming of files because it's such a universal experience as like a producer, where it's like, Dirty Drums, Basic Done, higher hats, 2 dB faster, version 3. All right, this is Out My Head by Cornell. Let's dive in. And then Shipwreck, you'll close us out today.
Out my head, something you can anticipate.
Okay.
So good you make it oh, like a girl to make your heart ache.
Talk to me about what you're producing with. What are you using?
She's got beauty that lasts days. If she's got beauty in all her ways. If she's even tapping up, how can she do it? Looks so good without.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I just can't get you off.
I know I do talk fast. I'm trying to move fast. Beautiful. Nice. Thank you for the heartbeat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Time. I hope you have an amazing night. cool. Cornell, this is cool. I like it. What's the artist name? Is the artist name Cornell? Let's go. Y'all show some love to Cornell right here. Okay, Cornell is the artist name. Beautiful. That song, gotta go back to the email here because it's a different name. Out My Head. This is Out My Head by Cornell. Let's get into it. Let's run it from the top and let's dive into some details here. We're gonna move at a good pace. I'm talking quick. We're moving quick. I don't got a lot of time and I've got to get into Shipwreck's song here at the end. All right, let's run it from the top. This is Out My Head by Cornell. Let's dive into the details. Let's get into it.
Out my head, something you can't anticipate.
I love the like DX7 synth, like FM synthesis, slap bass, like digital slap bass. The energy behind the production is great. Love the 80s drums. There's so much texture in here that I think is fantastic. Now there's obviously, like you said, this is an unmixed demo. There's a lot of elements that need to kind of come back under control, that need to be kind of polished in the structure of the mix. But stylistically, energy-wise, performance-wise, I think you're doing a fantastic job. This just needs to kind of get to the next level as far as like polishing the production. But man, stylistically, I think you're doing a lot of really, really cool stuff.
Out my head, something you can't anticipate. Feeling so good, you make me love. Oh, like a girl to make your heart ache.
Beautiful. I love that. That's nice. That's nice. It reminds you can't really see it, but like back, or you can see it a little bit. Back here, I have that's a Yamaha DX21. It's like a synth from 1985 or 1984, I think. I love that. One of my favorite things is kind of the EP classic DX7 sound. So it's like the baby brother to the DX7. But one of the other things that I really, really like about it is the bass. The bass is just so chunky and clunky and nasty and weird. I just love it. It's really, really cool. Yeah, bass lines are beautiful. Bass lines are really nice. I like it. It's a great layering with your production structure. Okay, so on this, let's get into this little transition here, because your early production, your early sound design here is really, needs more cowbell. Always. You're like not wrong though too. It'd be nice to have like a classic like Casio cowbell in there as well, or like the early like TR-808 digital cowbells and stuff like that. So you're not, whether it's a joke or not, you're not completely wrong. You can always use some more cowbell. Okay, I want to polish Heart Creature. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you for the Tilly, for the lightning, for the I'm ready. I appreciate it so much. Is it Mission? The Mission. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that all of y'all following today. Thank you for the love and support. And Heart Creature, thank you for the gifts. You're going crazy with the gifts. I know I can't possibly catch them all while I'm doing the breakdowns, but thank you for the love and support. It means more than you know. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, let's get into let's back this up here. Let's get into some of the details here. On this transition here, I would highly recommend that you open up some of the production a little bit more. Strangely enough, because of your change in production structure, the hook actually feels smaller. It feels like it's missing some energy and some support. I would recommend opening up a little bit more here. Probably either like a tambourine for the hook over here on top of the drums, another like sequenced hi-hat pattern, something to kind of open up the production structure here a little bit, and same with the synths. You still keep like your FM synth movement over the top, but there's very little like support underneath it. Let me back it up here for a second and get into that hook one more time. There's so much movement between your high bass line here, the other synth, and your hat pattern for the drums that it feels really vibrant, feels really, really energetic. And then you go into the hook and it actually feels like it's missing some of that energy. So I definitely feel like we could express that a little bit higher. Shipwreck, do you think you could bring the tonal harmonics in the cowbell, like up in volume? Yeah, he probably could. In the percussive side, you could probably introduce a little bit more like energy and musicality there. I just can't get you on Can hear how kind of suppressed and filtered in context, because the context of the mix sounds, matters a lot. In context, the percussion actually sounds a lot duller now when you're opening up your vocal structure. You have some good stacks there, some good openness there. Like I like the double track of the vocal there in the background, but I would definitely suggest probably either adding another layer so like another layered kick, the TR-808 or TR-909 would be a really good layer, kind of like an 80s style drum sequencer, drum machine, would be a really tasteful layer. And you could find versions of this in Logic too, right? It doesn't have to be like a roll-in plugin or an actual machine. You can find, they have emulations of this in every DAW for the most part, right? Like a classic like TR-909, TR-909 would be a really good layer to that. Nice, chunky kick with a really washed out snare over the top that's layered in with what you already have there. That's a little brighter, maybe with a gated reverb, and then adding in a tambourine. So the hats are pretty filtered out. Right here, there's not a lot of life and energy to it, but it would be nice to be able to open up to kind of like an eighth note on the tambourine as well. To just open up the structure there just a little bit more and give you some energy and some life behind it so that it doesn't feel suppressed compared to the verse. Because the verse is there's so much bass energy, there's so much life in the percussion and the vocal that you don't want to lose that going into the hook. So that'd be my initial reaction to just the production structure there. I want to listen a little bit more for vocals as well. That bass is so nice. It's tasteful. It's beautiful. And I would also, you have this beautiful D minor. All right, so you have this beautiful like the energy behind your percussion and your movement there is gorgeous. I love it a lot. You have this really warm, beautiful kind of like Juno style synth in the background. It's chorused. It's lovely. It's one of my favorite sounds in music. I would push that forward a little bit, give you some warmth, give you some life, because it makes the mix feel wider. It makes it feel more open. It makes it feel a little bit more vibrant and just easy to listen to because there's a beautiful kind of analog warmth to it. Push that forward. And I would also make sure that probably going into your hook that you have a little bit more of that too. You have really good lead melody, really good bass, and really good percussion, which we can amplify like we talked about. And your vocal performance is awesome as well. But you don't have a lot of like support in the mids from your chords. You have a lot of bass and lead. So having something in the middle that gives you really nice warmth and energy, I think would be fantastic. And I think a chord like that does a great job. I can't wait to wait. I can't wait to wait. Goodness gracious, I can't talk. I can't wait to hear how you fully mix this out. Because again, this is kind of a rough demo. It's a rough demo right here. But dude, you're talented. Stylistically, I think it's fantastic. You obviously have some like 80s, early 90s, like MJ influence and stuff too. Like I think you're doing a great job of operating in that genre, but still holding your own with your own vocal structure. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you to balance this and mix it out. But yeah, really, really well done. Yeah, the oh, and also the little pops in the background there. It's nice. It's nice. Is there a ever host for our first place? You taking me? We are closed up for today, but we're going to be back live again on Sunday, I believe. Sunday or Monday. We're going to be back live again. So just make sure that y'all are following. Make sure that you're tapped in. Turn notifications on. We'll be back live. Yeah, that's the feel. 100%. We'll be back live here in just a couple days. It's going to be too long of a day tomorrow for me to try to get on. So probably either Sunday or Monday. Most likely Monday. And we'll be back live again, and we'll open up submissions again for a whole new batch of music. I'm excited to get into. All right, let's push it forward a little bit. I want to get into this next feel. Last thing I want to listen for is the vocal. Like that really, really nice. Dun, 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 dun. That little high, like tiny FM synth that you have up there. That's beautiful. I like that so much. That another element that sits under, so just layering, having that over the top end, it gives you some shimmer, some shine over the top, layered with a warmer, that that has like a nice chordal structure to it, like the Juno, a Jupiter, that feels really like warm right underneath that. Maybe even doing the same thing so it doesn't feel too busy. You're adding depth and layering, not busyness and not noise, right? And I think that's really important in a style like this. And a lot of it is one of the things I love about 80s music is you can have a lot of layers, a lot of instrumentation, but because they're so like locked in with each other and in tune, like collaboratively, they're really, really tapped in. Each instrument is playing its part together. It doesn't feel noisy and busy all the time. So what I would do is you have this really nice over the top, just layer that with a really warm Juno sound that sits underneath it. Doing the same thing, they're in a line, so it's not getting more noisy or more busy. You're just adding warmth to that signal and filling out the mids a little bit more. Okay, last thing. I gotta move quick. Yeah, it's still a demo, Shipwreck. It's still an early demo, so there's still a lot they gotta, like, it doesn't even have like a mix on it where all of these elements are big. They're talking on Twitch. Yeah, it's still an early demo, So there's a lot that will still be balanced in effects and stuff like that. So I'm not too worried about that. Last thing that I'll say, and I love the guitar in here too. There's so many things that I really like. I mean, I love the 80s, so there's a lot that I really like about this. Last thing I would say is just as you start to mix your vocal and get into the balance of this a little bit more, make sure that you are gain staging and compressing in a way that you're controlling your dynamic range in a way that makes sense. Right now, Diansky, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Right now, your vocal tends to fall out of the mix quite a bit. So it'll be really forward, and then maybe you back off the mic just a bit and you completely let go of all of your amplitude and you lose your vocal in the background of the mix. Your stacks are a little bit tighter, but on your lead vocals specifically, probably just because they come in with just a good energy, on your lead vocal specifically, your voice tends to dive in the mix when you change proximity, when you move around a little bit, maybe when you're like you're hitting higher notes, and so you back off a little bit, you lean back to hit the note, whatever it may be, you getting pretty dramatic amplitude changes between some of your verses, parts of your hook, and then, B sections to your hook as well. So I would highly recommend, I don't know what you have as far as compression on, what you have as far as compression structure on your vocal currently, but I would recommend having probably two. You can always do more and you can technically do less, but I would probably recommend having two compressors on there, one to grab things that are trying to slice through the mix a little bit more, and then another one to smooth out and control. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can literally do this with stock plugins. I've done it before with stock plugins where you literally just have one that has a much faster attack, a couple dB of control, releases pretty quickly as well, and then another one that has a much slower release to smooth out that signal over time. You can do it with stock plugins. You can also do it with like sometimes they'll use a 76 into an LA2A in order to just smooth everything out and keep it really controlled. And that's actually what I have on my vocal right now, where I can be close to the microphone. I can sing really loud, and I can also like talk really quiet and like whisper and have like just vocal fry. And there's like, obviously there's a change in energy, but there's not a dramatic change in amplitude, right? It's very, very like honed in and controlled. And that's what you want. You want to be able to, you got me out in my head. You want to be able to do that, and also, you want to be able to have like those tighter vocals in your verse as well as louder vocals in your chorus, and it feel like pretty smooth and controlled. And even if I like back off the mic a little bit and I'm moving around a little bit, you're not hearing like a dramatic change in amplitude, a dramatic change in energy on the vocal. I have a few UAD compressors I can test with. Beautiful. I would recommend, if you have UAD, I would definitely recommend going with like a 76 on there and a 2A. Those two work really, really well together. It's kind of a classic. It's not like it's kind of like a legendary stack. A lot of people use that. Sometimes they'll switch to some other stuff. Even just like other way, like RVox is pretty good. There's a couple other good, RComp is nice. A couple Waves plugins and some SSL plugins that I'll use occasionally to balance. But it's a good go-to. It's a good go-to to have a fast-moving 76 and a smooth LA2A on there, and it just makes everything really, really even, right? So that'd be something that I would look for, because there's things you're doing with your vocal that I love. They sound really, really cool, but they do kind of, especially here. Get you out my head. Oh, you have like really nice vocal lines underneath there that kind of get completely lost under the synths. And I still want the synths there, the guitar there. I still want all the energy there, but I want to hear a forward stack of vocals that dun, 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 dun. I want to hear that forward, and I want to get that energy out of the mix and then not feel like it's getting lost back behind things, because you've got an awesome voice. You're a great writer. I love the melodies. I love the energy. I love the production structure. But we've got to get it into a place where some of those elements that are kind of non-negotiables, which the vocal would be, and non-negotiable in the mix, it's got to be forward. We got to make sure that that has good energy and good support in the mix, and then I think you'll be absolutely fine. You also so much to Cornell. I'm excited to hear a mix on this, because this is still fairly unmixed and untouched. It's got great creative structure, great energy behind it. We haven't really done a whole lot on the mix yet, so I'm excited for you to push this forward and get a bit more energy behind it, because, man, you've got a lot going for it. I mean, I love this style. I love this era, and you're doing a great job, man. Thank y'all so much. Show some love to Cornell. How's the stream going? It's going pretty good, Bork. I appreciate you hopping in. How are you feeling today? It's going pretty good, man. It's a short one today. I'm literally doing 3 songs and I'm out of here. So we're literally about to get into our last song of the day. And then we'll be back maybe Sunday for a couple hours, most likely Monday. But y'all, please show some love to Cornell. I need Cornell, let everybody know. Plug yourself, Cornell. Let everybody know over on, they're on TikTok. Let everybody know if they can find your music on platforms, if they can find you on any other DSPs or other platforms. Let them know. If you got music out, let them know so they can go support you. But y'all, please show some love to Cornell. I'm going to go quickly straight into this next track. We have Shipwreck Submission. Let's get into it. Boy Grim, welcome into the live stream. I appreciate y'all so much. Quick reminder, make sure that y'all are following on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. We're live on all 3 of those platforms. YouTube and TikTok offer a slightly different experience. Over on YouTube, I'm able to switch to a couple other things. So I can switch and show the lineup on the board. I can show my DAW if we're getting into Pro Tools and we're going to be diving into a very specific element that you're wanting to look at. I can also show some other angles and stuff here in the studio as well. So if you're on YouTube, you do get a bit of a better experience. YouTube and Twitch is the same. Also, quick reminder that if you are wanting to go back and review, thank you so much for the rose, Boy Grim. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Shipwreck. It was my last minute addition to the stream today. I was like, hey, I've got this. I was about to put it in the garage because we didn't really have a use for it. And I was like, you know what? Let me toss it up in the studio. It's a nice little Christmas vibe. We got to. But yeah, just quick reminder that if you want to go back and reference your breakdown, if you would like to get back into some of the details of your consultation, if you didn't remember everything or you wanted to screen record but didn't get to or whatever, you'd never even necessarily have to screen record or take notes because the entire live stream is saved to YouTube indefinitely. So this will be what I believe is episode 18, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's episode 18. Even though we've been doing this for a long time, that's just technically what it ends up as. So you can literally just go to the playlist that says Track Talk live stream on my YouTube, click on episode 18, find your song, and you'll see everything that you need to know. And you can screen record from there, take some notes from there, reference it again. So you can always go back through any of these streams and check out the submissions and check out any of your submissions that you sent in as well. All right, Shipwreck, closing us out today. Closing us out. Hey, just wanted to say thank you so much for all the feedback on the last track. It helped so much and learned so much from what you told me, especially when you showed it in your DAW too for mixing techniques. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for saying that. That makes me so happy. I fixed what I did and I made it 10 times cleaner without any problems. Anyway, here's another track I made that will fit the same vibe as the last one. This song is an eerie, horror-sounding UK dubstep song that I had so much fun making. I have a small problem with it and I want to add some elements to the breakdown so it can be more interesting. I do like my riser for my build, but I think I could make it more powerful but not too powerful so it can make the drop way more impactful. I like it. Let's see. Last thing is I want to make sure I have enough headroom in all the structured parts so I'm not missing anything or overwhelming the sounds for the listener. But I think I did a pretty good job structuring and making a call and response with my rhythms and sounds. What do you think? Let's find out. This is Fair Combat by Shipwreckparadise. Let's get into it. This is on SoundCloud right now. Let's dive in. Closing us out today, man. Thank you so much for sending this in. Let's dive in.
It's time for Shipwreckparadise. Paradise.
What's up, Brett? Welcome in, man. Good to see you. Oh, I like the halftime here. Dude, Brett, it's so good to see you, man. It's been forever. I hope you're doing amazing. All right, let's go. I'm ready. I know it has been a minute, man. Doing pretty good. Borja, welcome in. Yeah, I like the dynamics. It's cool. Nasty. Let's go. Y'all show some love. That is Fair Combat by Shipwreckparadise. Let's get straight back into it. This is our last song of the day. We are short and sweet today. Noki's in the building. Short and sweet, short and sweet. This is our last one. We're moving quick. Let's get into it. Shipwreckparadise. I love what you do. Creative sound design, interesting structure. I do like your dynamics here, but I do agree that there's some place, and the balance is pretty good too. Like overall, like the support that this track has, I think is pretty good. But I do agree that there's some moments where I feel like my brain needs to wake up a little bit, right? Like, and that could just be because I'm tired, so I got so much coffee here. But there's some moments where I find myself checking out of the movement of it and my brain wanting to just have something that switches up the vibe a little bit. It could be, I'm going to toss this out there as an idea. Feel free to completely ignore it because it might not be your vision at all for the song. I want to keep this eerie and nasty and kind of horror sounding, but I could also see on your last build up and last hook doing a double time and going almost straight D&B, because right now you have it laid back and you could go into, you could bring it a little bit more energy, even with the exact same MIDI and exact same sound design, and just increase the energy for a moment. Or halfway through your last breakdown, right? You start halftime, you have the energy the way that it is, and then halfway through you do a transition, and you, yeah, straight break beat. And increase the energy, increase some of the vibrancy there so that it feels like, oh, all of a sudden we got to switch. That to me would just snap me out of the loop of it a little bit too, since you have largely the same chord the whole time, a lot of the same sound design, and it's good sound design. It's good sound design, so I like what I'm hearing, but I do think it would be helpful to wake that up a little bit and offer just a change of energy. Whether you do full time instead of the half that you have, I don't think it's like necessary, but that's kind of what I'm listening for. That's kind of what I'm listening for. All right, let's run it from the top. Skylar, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. This is our last song of the day, y'all. Last song of the day. And then we're going to be back with some more music either Sunday or Monday, but let's run it from the top. Let's get into some of the sound design. And I already know you're going to mix this well. This is already a pretty good balance on it, so I'm not too worried about it. I like the sound design a lot too. It's, you know, there's like almost some like filtered flutes and stuff in the background. It's got a really, really cool feel to it, man. I like it a lot. And a really nice snappy sidechain too. So I actually like that a lot. You have that kick has a really, really tight sidechain on it. Like your release is really, really tight. So you don't get a ton of swing out of it, but you just get this like pull and this pump of energy in the rest of the production every time that kick kicks in with that, no pun intended, with that sidechain. It's a really, really nice, tasteful way to do it. It's not like so much of a release to it that it affects everything dramatically. But it makes everything really sharp and really punchy. I like it. Big SLT, welcome in. See, like your sound design here is really interesting. 2C Bass, thank you so much for hopping in. This is our last song of the day. We are going to be back live in just a few days for a long time. So like I'm literally only on for like an hour and a half today. It's super tight. So we just got through a couple consultations here really quickly, but we will be back live in a couple days. So just make sure that you're following. We'll open up the lines again. I would absolutely love to hear what you're working on and hear from what you're doing. Yeah, man, thank you so much for being here. I thank you. I appreciate you stopping by the stream for a second. But yeah, feel free to hang out for a little bit. We're going to be on for like 15 more minutes. Finish up this consultation here for this producer, and then we'll close things up and be back on here in just a bit. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. It's all love. Appreciate it. All right. So yeah, your sound design structure here is really nice. I think that what we really need to dig into, Shipwreck, is how to transition out from this, maintain your energy. And honestly, it's only about 2 minutes and 30 seconds here. It looks like you have some time to have some changes in energy and changes in structure here, because it's not a long track at all. You could keep it 2.5 minutes if you want it to be really concise, but you technically have a little bit of movement to open this up a bit if you want to. Kizzy, thanks for hopping in. I do think you should probably change some sound design going into your B section here just a bit as well, though, because all this sounds pretty good. Like all this here, I don't really have any complaints, right? You can balance that a little bit better. I think those basses, in contrast to what's happening here, like the rest of your mid, your back front. You can Shipwreck, hop over to YouTube as well, because YouTube, you don't have to worry about it. If you hop over to YouTube, it's the same exact stream. The Durex, the micro Korg. The micro Korg was the first, and I have a lot of synths, and I love synths, and I've bought and I've sold a lot of synths. The micro Korg was the first synth that I ever bought for myself when I was like 16 years old. I paid $100 for one off of another musician that I knew, and I was like, hey, I'm getting rid of it. And it had the original vocoder and the mic and everything. I wouldn't say it's like the best synth or it's whatever. It is a special synth though. It to me it holds a special place in my heart. It's the first synth I ever bought. I would love to get I don't have it. I pawned it off years ago because I had to. And it was either keep the micro Korg or get my car towed. So the micro Korg went. This is, I don't know, a decade ago, 8 years ago or something like that. Shippy, welcome in over to YouTube. I see you. But the micro Korg it holds a special place in my heart. I love that synth, and it is cool. It is a cool, quirky, weird synth with tiny little keys. It's a quirky synth. I like it though. I like unique synths that do something really, really specifically and really well. And if you like 90s and early 2000s sound design and a lot of that stuff, you'll like it. If you can find one for a couple $100, I would do it. It's a fun little synth. If I could get one again, I'll get one again here pretty soon. I got to redeem it. I got to bring it back. All right, let's get into it. So you can hear how most of your background sound design here, Ship, is a bit softer compared to your drums, and then this bass comes in hot, really, really hot. So you could balance this back by 2 dB, 2.5 dB, just a little bit more control, so that everything feels really even and really natural. But I do think we need to find some interesting ways, just because this sounds really cool and it works really well, but we do need a way to twist this up a little bit, right? We need to shake it up a little bit once we get into the B section, so it doesn't get monotonous, because even too much of a good thing, it can still become monotonous over time, right? So if it feels like it's too much of the same sound design. And this is kind of back here, right? It's basically just the intro again. So how can we find a way in this B section here? We have the same sound design as your intro. We have the same sound design as your breakdown. We need to find some ways to throw a wrench in the system so there's some fresh engagement for the ears to listen to, right? Some fresh information. The new information is what's going to keep people's attention. So you don't have to dramatically change your whole structure here, but I do think some shifts in sound design and structure and layering here is going to make it dramatically more interesting to listen to, because what is there is cool, but it happens over a long period of time, so it needs to shake up a little bit. Jay Steele's in the building. Jay Steele, appreciate you hopping in, man. I hope you're doing amazing, because I like everything that I'm hearing. All the sound design that's here is cool. Yeah, because it's almost an exact same loop here. So I would suggest switching the drums here, because as soon as you go back into those pads again, back into those lead elements, and the exact same drums from the intro come in again, to me, I immediately feel like I'm just back in that exact same space. Let me say, like, an easy way you could do this would be to just filter all those drums down for a moment, right? Like, so when they do come in, filter them all down to like have like a completely different structure right there, where it's all like kind of filtered down and underwater, and then maybe have a new lead element that comes in to kind of change the vibe over the top of that, like kind of a really like nasty kind of chorused violin or something. They're kind of following like these lead melodies up here, like natural minor over the top. Because as soon as your new percussion structure comes in, I just feel like I'm back on the loop. So we got to find a way, like following the natural minor there and like following the progression you already have, to find a way to shift it. So I would filter or shift drum production. I would add a new lead element over the top that gets your attention, since you don't have the bass to take your attention there. I would just find a way to shift the energy there. Tim is in the building. What's up, Tim? Hope you're doing amazing, man. Good to see you. What's up, Keel? See, like here you already have kind of a faster percussion structure that feels like you might be going into a drum break. So I would kind of like respect that the ear's already listening for that. You have a similar buildup, right? But you already kind of hear the... You already have some of that baked into there. I would just kind of match that. Like go into your next production structure and then... like just go crazy. Like build a lot of energy right there so that there's a complete shift in energy going into this last breakdown. You already have some of it there. Half of it's there. I think it would be so brilliant to go double right there. It would be so nice to go double. It's like it's craving it. Even like with the rewind, that whole like stutter right there. I'm just waiting for it to go straight into a drum breakdown right there. I would definitely do it. In my opinion, I would definitely do it. Like let me see something real quick here. I'm going to switch over here. We're going to Pro Tools. We're going back to Pro Tools. This is round 2, Ship. Let's get into it. Here's what I'm going to go to BBC Orchestra, and we're going to ruin a violin on here. I'm just gonna do what's in my head. I'm just gonna do what's in my head, and then you can, take this for what it is. Oh, we don't need all that. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I'm going to ruin this. Just for the sake of me getting this idea out really quick. I love RC20. It's great. Okay, let's see here. And this is too good of. I don't need a good one. I need a bad one. Gabriel, welcome in. I need a bad one. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go. That's way too good. I need the worst sounding. I need expand. We need stock Pro Tools plugins. We're going to expand. We're going to strings. I need a really shitty sounding violin. Sean's in the building. What's up, Sean? Welcome in. Welcome in. Let's see. Where's my? What am I looking for here? Let's go, Ship. You're a beast. You're a beast. This is perfect because you're only going to have shitty plugins. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. That's more what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So now, I wanted that cutoff and this wobble and then tight decay. And then we come in here. Lower. It's how you do again, like to me this is about just getting your wheel spinning. This is like I'm not going to be able to get like the exact sound that I want you to have, but it's the idea, right? It's the idea of having one new layer of instrument. Yeah, and I'm already here. So here's the thing that I'm hearing, right? So I'm gonna jump back over here. Let me get out of Pro Tools. Do you hear that? And then there's all this background in there that gives me that same vibe, and then we lose some of that later on. It's kind of already in there. And so what I want to do is how can we maintain some of that in this mix? How do we maintain some of that in the production so it doesn't feel like there's just like these kind of disconnected melodies, but we bring back this kind of, let me bring this down here, just for the sake of pushing this a little bit. Let's give it more space, more reverb, bring it down. Let this build up. Even like those fillers. Just like those little fillers, like it doesn't have to be much, but I think anything. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. There's a little too much wobble there, probably. A little too much wobble there. But let's see. Let off, And you could also, like, you know, just as an example, and then I'll hop off. Just as an example too, I can change. So, like, I know you're doing this largely on your phone, but I can go in here and change the pitch bend range to a full octave here. So when you're going through some of these progressions, you could have more dramatic drop off. Whatever that might actually look like in the structure of the song, and especially if you double things up, right? And again, find a different melody, find a different sound, do it with a synth instead of a cello or whatever it may be, right? But the idea to me is that we change sound design, we change structure, and we offer a slightly different experience in this next breakdown. Because right now, the thing that you're running into is really good things happening. Like, it's really cool. Like, it's all good sound design. It's a pretty good balance over everything too. Like I said, I'm not mad at anything that I'm hearing at all. It's just repeated. I'm just hearing the exact intro again, the exact breakdown again, largely, right, with some changes. But very similar sound design, start to finish, over the exact same, like, D sharp minor, kind of, that covers the entire thing. So I would love to change movement, change tempo, like you said, like going into a double time with the drum break, or, you know, even kind of a D&B style movement there. Do a nice drum break, change your sound design leading into the riser there, and adding in new layering for your last breakdown so that you have fresh sound design, so it's interesting to the ears. Maybe filtering the drums. BNCO, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Changing your drum structure before you get into the breakdown, so maybe it's filtered down. Maybe it's nothing but the hats, and you just have to, and you don't really rely on the kick coming in for maybe a long time until you build up into the breakdown. Like, just some interesting ways for you to shift energy, change sound design, and make it more engaging and more interesting for the listener over the long term. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Y'all please show some love. Show some love, show some love. That is fair combat. But I'm not mad at that. Like I said, some of those basses are prominent compared to everything else, but I'm not mad at the balance or the mix, you know, so far, just as you're building out more sound design. But we just have to make sure that structurally it's engaging and it's interesting and there is new information for the listener, because most of what you're doing is really cool. And your structure is balanced well, and you have good energy. But again, like I mentioned over and over and over, too much of a great thing, it can be a bad thing, right? Just a raging drum solo can be beautiful. If a whole song's a raging drum solo, then you lose its impact, you lose its context, right? So we need new information and contrast and dynamics in order to make it matter, right? So if you can hone in on that and hone in on your sound design specifically for this record, you're definitely gonna just pique more interest and have more of attention on the record overall once it's streaming and stuff like that. So you're killer, man. Absolutely amazing. I'm so glad, Ship. Thank you so much for hopping in. BNCO, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. I always do my best. Always do my best, y'all. Short stream today. That is all we have time for today. That is our last song of the day. We literally just did like 3 today just to hop on for a little bit. I've got a busy day and a busy coming weekend, but I am going to be back live again potentially Sunday. I'll be off tomorrow. I'll be back potentially on Sunday, for sure on Monday. Oh yeah, BNC 100%. If you want details on what we do here, I'll give a quick spiel on a couple things really quick, but I am closing up the live right now, and we're only on for like an hour and a half. But if you want more details on it, you can go to my profile, click on the link, and click on Track Talk Submission. You'll see all of the details right there. But y'all, thank y'all so much for the music today. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for sending it in today. Thank you for the follows, the likes, the shares. Y'all are amazing. I really appreciate that so much. For those of you who don't know, last little quick spiel before we hop off of the live stream. My name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. It's what I do for a living. It's what I've done full-time, and I've done that for the last 13 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician. So the whole structure of this live stream, of course, is to look at things from that perspective, but it also is just what I do for a job as a producer and engineer and session musician. So if y'all are ever interested in any of the services that I offer as a full package producer, a session musician, I've got live drums in here, vocals, guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass. I've got tons of synths in here. The thing that most people hire me for is synths. I love synths. It's what I do a lot of. So people hire me for synths. I'm gonna send something completely different, so be ready. I'm excited. I'm excited for the next time, man. I'm excited for the next time. So yeah, I do a lot of session work, and then of course I also work as a mixing and mastering engineer, and I have for a long time. So if you're ever interested in the services that we offer, just make sure that you reach out to me, shoot me a message through Instagram or through TikTok. Or you can reach out through the website as well. Are you in New York? No, I'm not in New York. I'm in Texas. It's just a New York hat. But no, I'm in Texas. San Antonio. Efitelio, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. Let's go from beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for hopping in. Welcome into the family. I appreciate that a lot. We're hopping off, y'all. This is our last one that we just finished here. So we'll be back live. I won't be on tomorrow, but I'll potentially be on for a little bit on Sunday, but for sure on Monday. On Monday, we'll be back for sure. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for the amazing live stream today. And we'll see y'all very, very soon. Don't forget to make sure to follow on TikTok. Make sure that you're subscribed and followed on Twitch and YouTube as well. And I will absolutely look forward to listening to more of y'all's music and working with y'all collaboratively in the coming days. So thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate it a lot. Hopefully we'll chat with y'all